Pregnancy, pregnancy, pregnancy. What comes to your mind when you hear the word pregnancy? Well, pregnancy is a unique, exciting, and often joyous time in a woman's life, as it highlights a woman's amazing, creative, and nurturing power to hold to provide a bridge to the future. Also, pregnancy comes with some costs. However, a pregnant woman needs to be also a responsible woman as to the best support the health of her future child. It is risky to talk about pregnancy, so here's a trigger warning. Some of you want to be pregnant for whatever reason or not. Sometimes, people get pregnant when they don't want to. In fact, half of all pregnancies are complicated. Sometimes, pregnancies is a traumatic result of sexual assault. Other times, pregnancies can be so medically complicated, it threatens the life of the person who carries it. Some pregnancies will come to a devastating end, stillbirth. What I want to talk about today is about coping up with pregnancies. Because when pregnancy occurs, people will change forever, no matter what the outcome. Most people will become pregnant with one and two goals in life. One, they want to have sex. Two, they want to have a baby. Sometimes it is both. Most people who get pregnant don't actually want to be pregnant. Pregnancy means to an end. It is usually not the goal. Let's talk about physiology. Physiology, it is the study of how our body works. There are dramatic differences in physiology of the body when it is pregnant or not. From the moment of the conception, when sperm meets egg, the pregnant body begins to change. And it does this in order to provide a place for those few cells to grow into a whole new person. And those changes can be felt in a number of different ways. You may not be interested in learning about this at the scientific level, but you can probably relate to most symptoms. Think about the time when you have stomach bug and it causes nausea and vomiting. You are probably pretty miserable for those few days. Morning sickness can be all-day sickness, and it can last through 9 months of pregnancy. Imagine if we advertise pregnancy the way certain drugs are advertised. Are you ready to become a parent? Wanting to add branch in your family tree? Talk to your doctor about pregnancy. Pregnancy may have any of the following unwanted side effects: nausea and vomiting, heartburn, insomnia and snoring, frequent voiding both day and nighttime, shortness of breath, heat intolerance, sensitivity to smell, nosebleed, sinus congestion, abdominal cramping, back pain, hip pain, leg cramp, varicose veins, constipations, hemorrhoids, skin rashes, stretch marks, itchy skin, acne, skin pigment changes. I bet you're having some doubts about this drug they call pregnancy, and yet some people will talk to your doctor about their pregnancy because the end justifies the means. For some people, pregnancy is a really great experience with minor, short-lived discomforts, and there can be this amazing feeling of pride in the body allows the place for this new person to grow. And it can also be a time of a great anxiety. Postpartum depression gets a fair amount of press, and rightly so. Mood disorders often start in the pregnancy, only getting worse with the hormonal changes, and that happens after the birth anxiety. During this time, is so less significant of important people who are about to become parents. Under a great deal of pressure, often this is a pressure they put themselves, but it can also comes from family, friends, parenting groups, and social media. When you see a pregnant person, there just needs to comment and need to acknowledge. Unfortunately, our comments are often peppered with advice and warnings that are largely based on myth, not a fact. Some common myths regarding what is and is not safe in pregnancy revolve around food, drink, and coffee being often the target here. There are a lot of good studies that say regular coffee is okay to drink when you are pregnant. Deli meat, soft cheese, sushi, and rare steaks are things that you'll see often in the list of foods that should be avoided in pregnancy. It has everything you do in bacteria that can contaminate food, and maybe there are more often some of those listed. Listeria is an example. This can serious infection, and if it happens to you when you're pregnant, it can cause harm to you and your fetus. But if you pay attention to the news, you know that foods are fairly common, and Listeria is a frequently culprit even in salad. Nobody is telling pregnant people to stop eating salad. Proper handling and preparation can decrease the risk of the exposure to a pregnant person who's eating a deli meat sandwich and their favorite sushi roll is not doomed to suffer an infection. Remember, it is not their pregnancy that makes them sick. So please resist the urge for the offered dire warnings to harm to the baby if you are eating these foods. Especially if you are about to eat the same foods you eat contaminated deli meat, your status is not a pregnant will not protect you. Contaminated food don't know if you're pregnant. Alcohol is a thing about avoidance recommendation in pregnancy. But everybody's got a story of so-and-so who sipped whiskey through 3 pregnancies and those kids turn out okay. I've also heard that a small glass of wine every day is common in some countries and cultures. The problem is we know alcohol consumption and pregnancy is associated with fatal alcohol spectrum disorder, but we don't exactly know how much or when is the alcohol is a problem. Some people think that any level of exercise in pregnancy is unsafe. This can be taken way too far. Exercising when you're pregnant is very different. You're short breath more easily. Your center of gravity is off. But there are many studies that shows physical activity is beneficial to the pregnant person's health and their pregnancy's outcomes. It is okay lifting things or standing for a good part of the day simply being pregnant. Will have a hard time sleeping and some point they're waking up to pee. They got leg cramps and other body aches. Some people are told that certain positions are unsafe to sleep when you're pregnant. They are told that don't sleep on your back, don't sleep on your stomach, don't sleep on your left side or your right side. Do you see why is this a problem? Here's the take-home message on sleep pregnancy. If you are comfortable, you are safe. Stomach sleepers can absolutely remain stomach sleepers, at least for a while when your belly is sticking out for too far. It's not just happening. Left side, right side is okay. Back sleeping can be a problem when the uterus is big and it is heavy. I can put enough weight to prevent blood flow coming back to the legs through the big vein and into the heart. But in a healthy individual, when this happens, the heart responds by beating faster, and this makes you breathe heavily as through you're running. So, if this happens when you're asleep, it has the effect of waking you up. You change position and problem solved. Irma Bombeck's says, if I had the life to live over instead of wishing 9 months of pregnancy, I'd have to cherish every moment and realize that the wonderment growing inside me was the only chance in life to assist God in miracle. And that's all. I am Shiela Auguis, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.